We'll call our meeting to order. First item is invocation. Diane? And the Pledge of Allegiance, by the way, will be led by Mary Mallory. Father Dan Vollmer, lead the invocation, please.
Good and gracious God, we thank you for all the blessings you send our way. I'm going to complain a little bit today, Lord. We're short on rain. Lord, please send us rain. Send the monsoons early this year, Lord, without the dry lightning. We ask also blessings and protection for our wildland firefighters, Lord. It's likely to be a bad season this June, so Lord, protect them during that time. We also ask protection upon all of our first responders. Lord, keep safe all those who keep us safe. As we approach the end of the school year, we ask for a special blessing upon our children this summer. And we ask for a blessed protection for all those families as they travel on vacation. That's also blessings for our town council. Grant them abundance of wisdom as we plan for our future. Let's call this to Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father Vollmer, and thank you, Mary. Okay, now we'll do the roll call. Diane?
Mayor Skoog.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nye. Here. Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Grossman.
I'm here.
Councilmember Mallory.
Here.
Councilmember Rooney.
Here.
Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. Next item is the proclamation, Relay for Life. And
Whereas the American Cancer Society Relay for Life movement is the world's largest fundraising event to fight every cancer in every community and unites communities across the globe to celebrate people who are battle cancer, remember loved ones lost, and take action to finish the fight one and for all. And whereas funds raised during Relay for Life of the Quad Cities community enable the society to help people facing the disease today, educate people about how to reduce the risk for cancer or detect it early, and fund cancer research that will help protect future generations. And whereas Relay for Life events help fund more than $144 million in cancer research last year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Harvey C. Skoog, Mayor of the town of Prescott Valley, do hereby proclaim June 1st and 2nd, 2018, as Relay for Life Days in the Quad Cities community and encourage citizens to let their passion inspire them to take the Relay for Life message to more people to raise more dollars to fund the fight against cancer by participating in the Relay for Life event at the Town of Prescott Valley Civic Center, Lawns, June 1st and 2nd, beginning at 6 p.m.
thank you, Fatima. Vice Mayor?
Well, there's a few things I want to say. Number one, as a cancer survivor, I understand the value of this. And this year we have such an exciting theme. I thought you might like to tell us about that.
Our theme this year is the wonderful world of Relay, which is anything Disney inspired. And we're excited to have it. We think we'll have a lot of fun with that.
I don't know if council have any comments, anyone? Anything else, Vice Mayor?
I believe that we're a little numb to cancer issues because it's way too prevalent. And I bet there's not anyone in this room that hasn't been touched by it. And I'd be curious to see how many of you, a friend, close friend, or family, have had to experience cancer. Yes. That's the tragedy. But the important thing is the Relay for Life is not only supporting cancer survivors and members of their family, but they're making a difference. Why don't you tell us why they make a difference?
Well, first, I think what's really important is the money raised from Relay for Life goes to education, advocacy, patient services, and, of course, research. And I think a lot of people aren't aware of what's available just in our community. We have a community resource center within Arizona Oncology. You do not have to be a patient there to receive their services. It's available to anyone diagnosed with cancer. One of the newest programs we've kicked off is called Road to Recovery, where we have volunteers that can drive patients to their treatments if they don't have friends or family available to take them. And we're very proud to offer that here in our community. Our relay is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We walk all night to signify the fact that cancer never sleeps. And for all of you who raised your hand, you know what a true statement that is. We don't ask you to come out. You don't have to spend the night, although you're missing out on a lot of fun. But we do recommend please just come by and check us out. And we do have a dinner for cancer survivors and guests beginning at 4:30 on that day. So we just, again, encourage everyone to come out and help us make a difference.
Another thing you'd enjoy if you came out, every encampment is decorated according to the theme. So this year with Disney, can you imagine how exciting that's going to be? I'm lucky. I get to be one of the judges. So why don't you come out and help influence me decide who we think did the best and greatest job?
Christy, tell us how many years you've been working on this.
This is my 12th year as part of either the event lead or the team development, and my 14th year volunteering.
And she's also made trips to Washington, D.C. I don't know what all you've done. It's been immense, the amount of work Christy's put on it. And believe me, I too have had cancer, and I do appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Christy. Keep up the good work. Okay, next item is Student of the Month. This will be Mr. Whiting.
Well, normally we would have a student here and our principal from Bradshaw Mountain High School, and we don't tonight only because I guess they're graduating. So it's a funny thing that we have this conflict, and I see the mayor. We'll just trade things off here if you want to do scheduled announcements first, Mayor.
Yeah, I think we'll just keep on moving through the agenda.
Sounds good.
Okay, next item.
But I do want to present some information on this fine Student of the Month.
You do?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Since he's not here, I thought I would just give a brief outline what he's all about, because usually in conjunction with the Optimist Club of Yavapai County, Bradshaw Mountain High School, as well as the great town of Prescott Valley, we like to recognize students the fourth Thursday of every month, and this just happens to be an interesting month. I think it happens every year where we're not able to see him, even though he was in the newspaper. And so I'm proud of that we're actually able to recognize him. And what we usually do is just give a background information on what he's all about, what he's accomplished, why we're recognizing him. So I'll give you a little brief comments, and then I'll let the mayor proceed. But it's Aaron Massis, and he plays on the Bradshaw Mountain High School varsity basketball team. He's a member of the National Honor Society and Mu Alpha Theta, which is, I think, a mathematical club. He's volunteered over 100 hours at Stepping Stones. He's been named a National Merit Hispanic Scholar. He's received a letter of recommendation from the National Merit Scholar Program. And this is academic perspective. He holds a 4.66 GPA at Bradshaw Mountain High School. He's named the co-salutatorian, and I know I just messed that up, of the senior class. So there's two that will be saying a few words this evening. So we won't hear from him here, but they'll hear from him at the high school. And he does plan to attend my alma mater, the University of Arizona. And we'll ask him to bear down because that's what we do at the U of A. But you can see just kind of the brief information I provided you. The students we see here every month are really outstanding, and we're very proud of them. And it's always something I look back at my high school days and figure out what the heck I was doing at his age. But there's a lot of things going on in terms of academics, working in the community and working at school as well as at church. And we thank these students for what they're doing, and we expect them to come back someday and give back to our community. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Okay, next is the PVPD retirement. Chad Kruger. Chief, you are up.
Mayor and Council, staff, community, thank you for this opportunity to recognize the career, the accomplishments, and the very brief retirement that Chad will experience here shortly before he goes back to work. So by way of history, Sergeant Chad Kruger, and by the way, Chad, if you want to bring up any of your family, you're welcome. Sergeant Chad Kruger started his career in 1995, where he was a reserve deputy for the Camp Verde Marshal's office. Chad attended the police certification program at Yavapai College in Prescott, Arizona. He graduated from the police academy in December of 1995. He obtained his first police officer position in 96 with the town of Wickenburg. While working in Wickenburg, Chad was able to become a general instructor and one of the department's field training officers. He also received the department's Officer of the Year award in 1999. In February of 99, Chad laterally transferred to work for the town of Prescott Valley. Chad started his career in Prescott Valley as a patrol officer and tested for the Master Patrol Officer position, also known as Corporal, and received it in around June of 2001. Chad also worked as one of the department's field training officers for many years. Chad was also involved in a critical incident where another officer was involved in a shooting, and for that and his efforts in that incident, he received a Police Star Award for his actions and subsequent investigation. Chad tested for the Criminal Investigations Division and became a detective in 2004. He spent the next 6 years of his career working as a detective, where I had the honor to work with him as his sergeant. He was primarily responsible for property crimes and sexual-related crimes, in which he received a large amount of training. He also was an advanced forensic interviewer and conducted very difficult interviews with victims of intimate and sexual violence. Many times these victims were children, and Chad did a wonderful job serving those victims. Chad had goals of promotion and opted to go back to patrol around 2010 as a police corporal. In December of 2011, Chad was promoted to the rank of sergeant. As a patrol sergeant, Chad was picked to be the department's lead driving and high-risk stops instructor. He was also one of several officers assigned to the unit for training purposes, and he's also been asked to instruct and assist other agencies throughout the state. He has worked as NARDA's main driving instructor and certified many officers who have come to Arizona to become peace officers in driving as well. Chad was also the department's SWAT crisis negotiator supervisor, where he was responsible for the actions of members of his team. And he's attended many advanced trainings during his career, which include drug recognition expert and instructor, horizontal gaze nystagmus and HGN instructor. Chad also attended many leadership courses, which include basic supervision, FBI LEADA, and the Arizona Leadership Program. Chad was active in passing on his knowledge to others and instructed at the Northern Arizona Regional Training Academy since 2003. Chad's been the lead instructor for mental illness, juvenile delinquency, as well as assisting with defensive driving and pursuit tactics. Chad's been married to his wife, Jaka, for over 20 years. They now have 5 children, 2 boys and 3 girls. Chad also has 2 grandchildren. Chad attributes the success of his career to the love and support he receives from his family and friends. Chad, if I can present you with a couple of gifts and acknowledgments from the department, and then I'll turn it over to... Okay. Chad, this is from the town of Prescott Valley in honor of your service, February 22nd, 99 to June 1, 2018. As you retire, we honor you for your 19 years of public service. The mayor, town council, and staff commend you for your many years of dedication to the citizens of Prescott Valley and wish you success as you begin your next great adventure. Congratulations on your retirement. Chad, as is the tradition at the department, we asked you, and you were kind enough to provide us with some of the things that you have earned throughout your career of service to many different communities. And so, with the assistance of several of our department's members, we put together a shadow box for you. And last but not least, you're going to need somebody to carry all that stuff for you. Good. That's why you have 5 kids. Good answer. Chad, from the police department, for all your years of service and dedication to the Prescott Valley Police Department and the town of Prescott Valley. And I have personally had the honor of serving with you since the day you started at the police department. You are one of the most reliable officers that I have known. Thank you.
Nice, Mayor.
This is always hard because we're so happy for the family and we're happy for you, but we just don't like to let go of excellence. That's very hard for us. So I think the most important thing for me now is to give you my humblest of thanks and give you wishes for many dreams to come true in the future. And I'm going to be interested when you share with us what you're going to be exploring in that future.
Jody?
Chad, it's one of these things where we know it's the whole family, Jacob and the kids, and then, of course, our extended family with our police department as well, that come together and help you do what you do, and you help them. And that's appreciated. You help make this community work, and we recognize that and what you've given and the investment that you have made, and we thank you.
Marty?
These are when one of our police officers retires, especially someone with as much knowledge and experience as Sergeant Kruger has. It's sad that we're losing that, but we're happy. Like Laura Lee said, we're happy for the family and for the years he got through, and he's still vertical in one piece, and that's always a blessing to all of us. Thank you. But it was also when the deputy chief was talking, and he said that you've been at NODA in training. So there are a lot of other officers since 2003, I believe you said, that have gained the experience that you have through your teachings. And that is always critical to keep the police force active and moving forward in the right direction. So congratulations on your retirement, and it's going to be interesting to see where you go from here because you're still a young man. And, so congratulations, and congratulations to your family for being with you all these years and supporting you. And that's always a critical and important factor for any of our police officers, that the family is there for them to support them. So thank you again.
Mary?
Yes, Chad, thank you so much for what you've given to the town and the service from your family. We wish you the best in the future. God bless all of you as you move forward to a new journey. Thank you.
Rick?
Well, Chad, it's important for all of us to realize that 20 years doesn't happen overnight. It happens day by day, and you've worked for it day by day. And we also, as Marty indicated, you've spent each of those days teaching someone else, whether it was a partner, whether it was another police officer that was you just happened to touch in some way during that day. You've been teaching all your career. And I'm comfortable in the knowledge that you've left behind enough experience that we have people that can follow in your footsteps. And you've certainly earned your retirement. So thank you very much.
Mike?
Sergeant Kruger, we're very proud of your service to our community. I don't think we'll ever forget you. I think it is kind of sad that we see, should I say, more mature officers leaving, but it is exciting to see the younger officers coming up the ranks as well. We know you're a multi-talented person. You've earned the right to retire. I think, as always, you're very professionally prepared and have a lot of experience, and I think that's what we feel we'll be losing. But we know, as we've heard already, that that's been passed on. It's part of, I guess, the fabric of our police department, so we appreciate all the things you do for us, and we hope to see you around and that you won't be gone per se, but just retired. So congratulations.
Larry, did you have a comment? You're in luck now.
I don't think Chad wants me to. Chad's my neighbor, a few doors down, and I've watched the family grow up, and I've refereed some of the kids. But the one constant in that is that Chad does work with his family, aside from going ahead and being an outstanding officer. So thanks a lot, Chad.
I think we all appreciate what our police department has done. We have one of the lowest crime rates in the state. That means we're one of the safest communities in the state. Chad, you've been part of a super job. Your comments? 20 minutes.
I have to? All right, you might regret that.
We'll enjoy it, Chad.
First off, I love this opportunity to speak with you. And sorry about I might have a little bit of dry humor, but I would like to start off real quick to, and again, you guys asked. So I'd like this opportunity to air my dirty laundry. Let's start with the deputy chief. Just kidding. Anytime that I can make him squirm a little bit, I love it. And now that I'm officially off probation, I mean, let's just do this right now. I'm good. I've been waiting 23 years. All right. Besides that, I have nothing but positive to say. It's been a great opportunity being here. Like was mentioned, I am moving on up to, I don't know if I can use this word in here, but God's country. We'll just use it anyways. We'll use it. And I'm going up to Navajo County, Show Low, Pine Top area, where I'll be working in the near future. I'm very grateful to be able to work here and to be able to start in patrol and work my way up. It's been a great experience for me, a great opportunity for me, and I think most of all I'd like to thank my family and kids. I have 4 of my children here today, so they have stood by me, so I thank them the most. Thank you.
Anything else? Congratulations. Hey, thank you for your years of service. Good. Okay, the next item is Prescott Valley Police Department promotion. Nancy Roberts. Nancy, come on up.
Where it says state your name. Mayor, council, staff, and community. Again, we gathered to celebrate, but in this case, the promotion of Nancy Roberts. And so, if I could just take a moment, I'm going to read a biography, and then we'll get on with the swearing in. I didn't add anything, I swear. No, I really didn't. It's very well written. If you want to bring your family up, by the way, you're welcome. Any members of Nancy's family? Nancy was born in Globe, Arizona, and moved to the Mayer area in 1987 with her parents, Bill and Sandy Roberts. Nancy started her education in Mayer and completed it at Orm School, where she graduated in 2001. Nancy received a scholarship to play basketball at Yavapai College, where she completed her studies with an Associate's of Arts degree. Nancy was hired on with the Prescott Valley Police Department in January of 2006 and graduated the NARDA Police Academy in May of that year. Nancy has been with her partner Danny for over 9 years, and combined they have 5 children ranging in ages from 27 down to their 7-year-old twins. Nancy says that she could not have had the success she's had in her career if it wasn't for the support of her family. There have been a lot of days that Danny's had to be a single parent due to scheduling at work, tireless hours of promotional testing preparation, SWAT call-outs, shift changes, and training days. Through all of that, Danny's support of Nancy's career success has never wavered. The twins, Connor and Mackenzie, have been very tolerant over Mommy having to miss school events, bedtime stories, and other special moments in their life due to work. Nancy feels that being promoted to sergeant is not only a personal career accomplishment, but a whole family achievement, and one that they will celebrate together. Nancy wants to thank her parents, Bill and Sandy, for always telling her that she was meant for great things in life, that she could do anything she put her mind to, and always encouraged her to do just that. It was through this inspiration that Nancy had the courage and persistence to become a police officer in the first place. Nancy's parents have given her a strong work ethic, extraordinary moral values, and never-ending support every moment of her life. These characteristics were exhibited in Nancy as a police officer, and now as a police sergeant, she is in an influential position to be able to pass those principles on to those she works alongside. Nancy's parents are a pillar of support that are cherished in both her career and family life. During her 12 and a half years with PVPD, Nancy has had the following notable career accomplishments. Rookie of the Year in 2007, General Instructor Subject Matter Expert, SWAT Negotiator for 6 years, now SWAT Negotiation Sergeant, congratulations. Crime Prevention Officer for 2.5 years, obtained Lead Police Officer in 2016, implemented critical incident debriefs and follow-ups for our officers to alleviate the effects of potential PTSD after critical incidents. And I want to stop here and just really acknowledge Nancy's efforts in that area, because I know, having heard from officers whom she has helped and provided services to and coordinated events, that she's making a really big difference in the department, and those efforts will go on for years. Field Training Officer for 4 years, member of the Honor Guard for 9, and numerous citizen and internal compliments for exceptional professionalism, problem solving, and conflict resolution through impeccable communication skills. Through all of this, Nancy says her twins are her biggest and best challenge in life. Connor and Mackenzie bring focus to the importance of coming home safe every night and never taking for granted what you have. Nancy wants to thank all of her current and past peers and supervisors who have helped build her into an emerging leader and mentor. Every person she's worked alongside has given her a piece of themselves to carry with her in her life. Above all else, Nancy wants to give thanks to God for giving her the courage strength, and ability to do this job every day, and for the family, friends, and co-workers he has brought through her path in life. And there's a Psalm, 144, 1 through 2, verse 1 and 2. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, and in whom I take refuge. Nancy Roberts.
I'll do it. Okay, now what you have to do is hold up your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Nancy Roberts, do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona.
That I will support the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of police sergeant.
And that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of police sergeant.
For the town of Prescott Valley, according to the best of my ability.
For the town of Prescott Valley, according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Did they disappear on us? Comments, Laura?
Yes.
Sure, let's do that
Yes.
first.
Does he have a history?
That's why I wore my vest. So I don't
Sometimes the bulletproof vest is very handy.
Well, it's fixable. The mayor's been here considerably longer than I have, but having been in office since '03 and a resident since '99, I've been watching progress, and I got to watch Nancy's entire journey. And it isn't always easy, people, but she never faltered. And I just want to congratulate you, and I want to honor you. And I'm excited that I'm still going to be around. And I'm tempted to say I'll be watching you, but that's not what I mean. I'll be celebrating you.
Anyone else care to make a comment? Marty?
Yeah, Nancy is one of the first police officers I ever met in the community. Shortly after moving here in '09, I became active in the Prescott Valley Police Foundation. And at the time, she was helping out, and anytime we had a public event, she was there. So I've gotten to know her a little bit. And this is the day I've actually been waiting for her to make sergeant, and next waiting for her to make lieutenant. That'll be another special day. And she's just been an exceptional officer all along. You heard all her accolades and what she's done in the department, and we expect more from her and bigger and better things to come. So congratulations on this promotion, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to say congratulations to you, Nancy, and your family and the service that all of you give is so appreciated for the community, and I want you to know that. And I wish you the best, and God's blessings to you as you move forward.
Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. Nancy, thank you so much for what you have already brought. I know you have a lot more to bring forward. I want to thank you for your leadership and just for even being here tonight. What a milestone this is. I know you will remember this night and look forward. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to lend my congratulations as well. I do remember your face as I came to this fine city of ours or town. And it doesn't sound or seem to be that long ago, but it has been a while. But I think you've accomplished a lot in your short time with the department. Obviously, you've accomplished a lot as well, and just want to congratulate you, Sergeant, for your achievements and look forward to seeing you often in the future.
Rick?
Yes. Nancy, congratulations. You've done a great job. It's well-deserved, and I'm glad to see that you finally got that.
Good. Anything else? Okay, you're up next, Nancy. Congratulations again.
I think my bio pretty much said everything that I did want to say. I want to thank the council and the mayor and the town manager. Without the support of them, we can't do the things that we do every day. So we thank you guys very much for your continued support. I've never felt like we didn't have your support, and that means a lot to us at the police department. I want to thank everybody that came out here today, whether they were here for Chad's service or my service or both. I definitely appreciate that, and I hope to be where Chad was one day, where my accolades are such of his, and it's been an honor to work with him as well, so we're going to miss him. But thank you, everybody who came, and the continued support, and I look forward to what the future holds and the exciting things that we're going to accomplish. So thank you.
Well, keep up the good work. We sure appreciate that, and congratulations. Anything else, Chief?
Just got a couple of quick signatures to make everything official.
Thank you again, Nancy. Chief, anything else?
No, I just want to echo Nancy's sentiment and thank everybody from the police department, council, staff, and community for being here. There's a lot of really wonderful men and women that serve at our police department, volunteers, police officers, non-sworn members. Mayor, you said it earlier, this is the safest community in northern Arizona, and that's the reason why. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, the next item is comments or communications from the council. Anybody? Mary?
I just wanted to let everyone know that, of course, this weekend is going to be Memorial Weekend. And we will tomorrow be putting up about 220 flags. These flags will represent soldiers that were born in Arizona, that lives were taken over the past several years in the war. So please take the opportunity to come over. It will be over there in the lower field in front of the police department. And take the opportunity to walk through the flags and just pay your respects to those that give us the freedom for us to gather like we did tonight, to pray, to pledge allegiance to our flag, and to celebrate the God-given freedom that this country has. It's priceless, and I hope we always realize that. Thank you.
Good. Any other comments? Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of items I want to bring forward. As a lot of people are aware, we're in our 40th year as a town. We're celebrating since 1978 our incorporation. Multiple events are happening. A few that are coming up, just to let you know, is the Wolfstock, and it's the ultimate good time for dog lovers. And I know we got a lot of dog lovers here. So that will take place at the Prescott Valley Civic Center from 10 to 3 on Saturday, June 9th. Admission is free. There are dozens of vendors that will be on hand with a little bit of everything. And the day's events will begin at 10. There'll be an invocation and blessing of the pets, followed by a parade of adorable dogs from area rescue groups. And there's some contests. And by the way, our theme this year is the Wizard of Oz. And so there just happens to be a Toto look-alike contest mixed in with some of the other contests. I do know Wolfstock is still looking for a few more volunteers, and they could call Prescott Dog at 928-445-4811 to sign up. They also can visit PrescottDog.com. And the other thing I wanted to bring forward in the month here on this Friday, the 25th, is when we begin our sponsored Theater on the Green, our movie nights. And that, again, is another free event because of our great sponsors. And so followed by that, every Friday night in June, we will also have a movie night. The one particular, and Vice Mayor, I know you're just excited about this one, it's the drive-in. And most of these are held at the Civic Center, but Casey, we're going to have this one at the PV Events Center, yes. And that's going to be exciting because, again, it's with our theme. Wizard of Oz will be shown that night. So every Friday night in June, we have that, and that's at 7:45 each evening. And certainly on Saturday the 30th, that's where things are a little bit different. I want to share about this. We will be showing Only the Brave, which is about our hot shots in Prescott and them giving their lives in service. So be sure to check out at our website, www.pvaz.net, for more information as these events approach. Thank you,
Good.
Mayor.
Thank you, Jody.
Mr. Mayor, just to follow up on what Jody just said, the drive-in at the Prescott Valley Event Center, when you pull in, they will give you the radio station to tune in on because it's going to come through your car radio. So you'll be able to view it from your car just like they did at the old drive-in theaters. That's exciting. And for those of you in the room that have never been to a drive-in, it's a lot of fun.
Any other comments? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. This time it'll be read by Marty.
I got it. Okay, consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the Town Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately for discussion and possible action. We have A, approving the May 2nd and 3rd work study minutes, May 2nd special, and May 10th council minutes. Approving the May 2nd, 2018 selection committee minutes. Approving department reports, accounts payable, monthly finance report. F is council investment report. G is quarterly sales tax. H is approving a request for reversionary plat 18-002 to combine lots 6675 and 6676 of Prescott Valley, Unit 16, to create new lot 6675R located at 8360 East Pecos Drive, Prescott Valley, Tony and Nancy Ebarb. Approving a request for reversionary plat 18-003 to combine lots 344 and 345 Lynx Lakes Estates, Unit 3, to create new lot 345A located at 2821 North Starlight Drive, Prescott Valley, Aljon Alger and Melissa Antone. Approving a professional services agreement with Civil Tech Engineering in the amount of $19,954 recharge basin. Approving the library to transfer funds in the amount of $6,000 from Library Facilities Fund line to capital site improvements for children's library lighting. And that's it. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Marty. Anyone want to pull on that item, or do you want to approve it as a whole? Mike?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
Second, anyone?
I'll second, Mayor.
We have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote?
Vice Mayor Nye?
Yes.
That's unanimous, Mayor.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, now we move on to new business for review, comment, and/or possible action. Go on to number A, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2051, designating Chapter 12A stormwater regulation as a public record. Norm?
Never saw the connected. Refresh.
Yeah, Mayor, by way of introduction, you did discuss this at the work study last week. This is our Chapter 12, which is a new chapter and some revisions for the stormwater requirement and management ordinance. So a lot of detail there, but really this is just housekeeping work that the Clean Water Ordinance through Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. It gives us enforcement capability if there's any illicit discharges to the stormwater system. So with that, there is a second reading of the resolution and also the ordinance for your consideration.
Okay, with a second reading, of course, would be on 9B. Any other comments, anyone, or questions? Let the reading begin. We need a motion first. Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor or, in his absence, the vice mayor to sign resolution number 2051 designating Chapter 12A stormwater regulation as a public record.
I'll second that.
Okay, with a motion and a second, will you set the vote?
That's yes, unanimously, Mayor.
They approve it. Norm.
Thank you, Mayor.
You weren't expecting. How about the next part of it, the 9B, consideration of approving the ordinance number 842, adopting by reference a public record entitled Chapter 12A, Stormwater Regulation by title only on two separate occasions. Any other comments on that one?
No, Mayor, just the ordinance that will be approved.
Okay, any questions, comments, motions for that?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to read ordinance number 842, adopting by reference that public record entitled Chapter 12A, Stormwater Regulation by title only on two separate occasions, and place the same on final passage.
Good. Any other comments, motions, seconds?
I'll make a second.
Okay, with a motion and a second, will you set the vote? Diane?
That's approved unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, Diane, I would instruct you to read the ordinance by title only for the first reading.
Ordinance number 842. An ordinance of the mayor and the common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, amending the town code by adding a new chapter 12A, stormwater regulation, to prevent and or minimize pollution from stormwater runoff and otherwise comply with its Arizona pollutant discharge elimination system, general permit for stormwater discharges, Phase 2, MS4, AZG 2016-002, providing that all other chapters, articles, and sections of this town code not herein amended shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provisions shall not be affected, but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, now we move on to number C, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2053, adopting the tentative budget for the town of Prescott Valley for fiscal year 2018 and 19, and giving public notice of the public hearing on June 28, 2018. Bill, you are up, front and center.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. The action item before you tonight is approve the tentative budget for the fiscal year 2018-19 in the amount of $100 million. Boy, it hasn't been 100,000 since I don't know when. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? $100,398,559. In addition, you'll be setting a public hearing date of June 28th. The forms that are attached in the RFCA will be the items that will be included in the newspaper and the courier. It also lists when and where the public hearing will be. This item was discussed at the May 2nd and 3rd work study. No changes were proposed at that time. And then just finally, public can come to either Larry's office, my office, the library to see the budget book, or go online to the town's website. So with that, Mayor, I'll answer any questions.
Bill, I got to give you credit. You've never yet put a budget on one page, sir.
Nope. That would be a first, wouldn't it? I could try. The print would be pretty small, but I could try.
You could try. You would too. Any questions, comments, motions, commotions, demotions, promotions? Laura?
I'll make a motion. Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence the vice mayor to sign resolution number 2053, adopting the tentative budget for the town of Prescott Valley for fiscal year 28-19, and giving notice of a public hearing on June 28, 2018, by electronic vote.
I'll second that.
Okay, with a motion and a second, would you set the vote?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Bill, you watch our pennies, okay?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we move on to number D. Consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2055, adopting and approving a final development plan, plat FDP 18-003 for Stone Ridge Unit 8A. Richard, you're up.
Mayor, Council, you're considering a final development plan which would approve 24 units on 8 acres. By way of history, this property was originally zoned R2, which is a multiple family district, and was to contain 124 units. Single-family residential uses are also permitted in the R2 zoning classification. With that clarification, the applicant brought forward a preliminary development plan to the Town Council, to the Planning and Zoning Commission. That was approved by the Commission in November of 2017. You're being asked to consider the subdivision plat or final development plan combined with a subdivision agreement which sets out the terms of your approval, including financial assurances that are posted before the sales of these units can go forward. The engineering has been reviewed by our engineering department. All other aspects of town code have been met. I would respond to any questions you may have.
Questions, anyone?
No, sir.
I think we've probably heard it all, Richard. Anybody care to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution 2055, adopting and approving a final development plan plat FDP 18-003 for Stone Ridge Unit 8A.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Diane?
That's approved unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. We'll move on to number E, consideration of authorizing the mayor to authorize the reading of ordinance number 843 by title only on 2 separate occasions, then place him on a final passage, reducing the number of arts and culture board members. Rick, do you have any comments on that, or Laura?
I'd be glad to answer any questions. Hearing none.
Laura, any comments?
It's totally straightforward. We had a good discussion prior.
Okay. No comments? If there is none, how about a motion, anyone?
I'd like to make a motion on this to read ordinance, going on the wrong one here. There we go, on E. There we go. Good, very good. All right, motion to ordinance number 843 by title only on 2 separate occasions, then place the same on final passage.
Good, thank you. Second, anyone?
I'll second, Mayor.
Okay, with a motion and a second, would you set the vote? Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, Dan. With that, I would ask you to read the ordinance number 843 by title only for the first reading. Diane?
Ordinance number 843, An ordinance of the Mayor and Common Council of the Town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, amending sections 18-01-040, establishment, and 18-01-050, terms in office, and Article 18-01, Prescott Valley Arts and Culture, in Chapter 18, Arts and Culture of the Town Code, to reduce the required number of members comprising the Arts and Culture Commission from 7 to 5, and to authorize the Town Council to appoint 2 non-voting alternate members, providing that all other chapters, articles, and sections of the Town Code not herein amended shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provisions shall not be affected, but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you. This is another one that we've studied a lot. Anyone care to do that? We'll move on then to number F. Consideration of awarding the construction contract for the fiscal year 2018-19 annual chip seal program to Earth Resources Corporation for bid Schedule A in a bid of up to $872,800.88. Norm, you are up.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, the item you have before you, I come to you each time this year to talk about our chip seal application. I think Council is well aware after the presentation last week of our Summer 18 maintenance program. This is the final maintenance applications, our chip seal. With approval of the tentative budget on the earlier items this evening, this actually will take place after on the new budget year starting FY 18-19. So we've talked before that we get a great price that we're ready to go with our tentative budget. So this work would be scheduled to start the new fiscal year starting July 1st. As Council can see that we had good competition for the annual chip seal, and the low bidder is Earth Resources Corporation, of a local Prescott Valley contractor. They've done very good work for us in the past, and we're very confident with their bid. Do want to point out that we talked last week about our Summer 18 maintenance program. You can see the alternating colors in the exhibit that's been on the Public Works website, details the chip seal that's going to be done. That was last year's pre-chip maintenance, but chip sealing this year. So we talked about this exhibit. So these are the streets that will be done as part of this $872,800 of chip seal work, with the low bid being Earth Resources of Prescott Valley. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, anyone? Norm, it looks like we're making nice progress on this. We have a gentleman behind you that has a question. Yes, come on.
My name is Glenn Brower, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, and staff. I live in Pronghorn Ranch on Sable Way, and last year we were experiencing chip seal project. And to contradict the Public Works the person, it was a terrible job. First of all, let me ask, is this the same contractor that did that project last year? That you're awarding?
Yes.
It is. Okay. First of all, on several occasions, they parked the equipment on my property. Now, I know if a property has a lawn, grass, they figure that shouldn't park on it, but mine is a stone, zero landscape. They were parking on numerous times. I had to tell them not to park on the property with their smaller equipment. Several occasions, they came and tried to, they did an excessive amount of chip, which I don't know what the specs read or what the scope of work is on that contractor, but they failed to sweep up properly the excessive amount of chips. The residents in my area and a lot of residents in the Pronghorn area was tracking the chips on our tires into our garages, on our shoes into our residence for several times. We contacted Public Works Department, which I will say did a great job of responding, trying to get the excessive chips off the road. A year later, I came back here and we had the same problem. The excessive chips were not taken off the road as scheduled. Now, I don't know what part of the contract relates to this individual, that is their responsibility, what it is in their scope of work. But there again, we contact Public Works, and they did a beautiful job. But the sweeping, I understand, was an outsourcing. The outsourcing sweeping company sent a sweeper out there with an inexperienced driver. You don't sweep the streets at 25 to 30 miles an hour. You do complete the job more rapidly, but you don't do a good job. Now, are we assured by the town, who would be Larry, manager of the town town of Prescott Valley, that we're going to have inspections of these people to make sure that they do the job properly? Is it in the scope of work? And I have one legal question. I don't see Ivan here. Are you legal? Yes. Okay. Now, are we, the contracts that I've been in construction for 40-some years, there's always a retention. And is there a limit to the time that the retention can be released?
The retention is paid off at the end of the project once it's 100% approved. But what you might be referring to is a warranty period.
Well, a warranty period, we're not warranting the job per se. We're actually asking, is the job completed while all this excess material has been not taken care of?
When the contract is deemed to be completed, then the contractor is paid their entire amount. Now, if you're talking about the contract for maintenance sweeping, that's a different contractor that is paid by the town to go ahead and sweep streets.
No. Public Works, I had a nice conversation with the people of Public Works. And by the way, like I said, they were very responsive. But the thing is, whose job was it? The contractor's job to do the complete sweeping and the gathering of the excessive chips? Because everybody that's familiar with Pronghorn Ranch development has what we call a bike trail ride from Coyote Springs to the end of the project. On several of them, that was just covered completely, and there was residents out there removing the chips because it was a safety hazard for bikers coming around a sharp curve. What my question is was it in the contract of the contractor who did the job to completely, to the satisfaction of Public Works, to gather all excessive chips?
Yes.
Okay, they didn't do it. Now, if the Public Works did it, that cost them money. So I suggest that the council and the town manager, whoever's in charge of Public Works, inspect these guys and make sure they do the job that we're paying them for. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. Any other comments, council, questions? Anything else to add to that, Norm? We want the job done right, so I'm sure you'll get it done. Mike, you had a comment?
No, I was going to make a motion if we're done with the...
I think we're ready.
All right. I'll make a motion to award the construction contract for fiscal year 2018-2019 annual chip seal program to Earth Resources Corporation for bid Schedule A in the bid amount of up to $872,800.88.
And I'll second that.
We have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote? Diane?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
That passes. Norm, you got a
Good. We'll go
big
get to work,
job
Mayor.
ahead of you, and we do appreciate Glenn's comments. Okay, we move on to number G, consideration of awarding a contract for the PB Parkway and Main Street pavement rehab project to Regional Pavement Maintenance under Mojave contract number 14Y RPMA-0317 for a contract amount of $61,114.20. Norm, you got that right down to the penny.
Yeah, yes, we did that time, Mayor. Just for your little background, Mayor, we do have parking lots within town rights-of-way that are our responsibility to maintain. We talked about this at work study last week. So there are a couple parking lots. One of them is the PV Parkway. As you can see, the parking lot area is here. parking lots need a different maintenance treatment than particular roadways. We do a particular asphaltic sealing and do the restriping. So the advantage we have under this particular contractor is we're able to use state procurement by Mojave Contract. With its competitive state procurement, we don't have to do a lot of background work. We can use competitively bid unit items, and through state procurement, we can procure a contractor. So as we point out, here's a couple exhibits of the particular roadways that's going to receive an asphaltic maintenance treatment. In addition, Main Street, right by our event center, there's some parking stalls there that receive the appropriate asphaltic sealant as part of the life cycle maintenance of those parking lots, plus the restriping to bring them up to good maintenance standard for today. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions about this particular work.
Questions, anyone? No questions? Marty?
The restriping. We have an option. Usually, there's an option of what width to have the stripes done. So hopefully, they take into account the size of the vehicles. Most people around here drive pickup trucks or something in a similar category, and sometimes those parking spots get a little close to one another. So you get those little nicks on your doors and stuff. When you have a new vehicle, you're really conscious of that stuff. So I hope they pick the right size.
Good. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. John, you are up. No, you'd have to use the microphone.
No.
Not loud enough, John. No, it doesn't go on tape if you don't use the microphone.
I would
And
like
on
the
TV.
gentleman to explain the method that this the pavement maintenance, what material is put on that road or those parking lots to bring them up to par, please? Is it an emulsion oil type thing?
Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
It is an asphaltic slurry seal. It is an emulsion. Emulsion term means there's a little bit of water added to the asphaltic oil that evaporates, and when it cools, it helps rejuvenate the pavement surface. So it is a parking lot application. That's why we use a Mojave Contract. This is right size for parking lot maintenance. Well, it was an engineered asphalt cake, so to speak. And then this is just rejuvenating the surface. Got a little bit of sand grit there too that'll help fill some of the voids and some of the degradation of the asphaltic product by the ultraviolet sun. So it's really just a surface treatment. So it's about the most economical treatment we can do to parking lots, and that's really what it does. And if you do that on a routine basis, then you save that investment of not only the whole parking structure and support.
We want the job done right, John. And once in a while we have difficulties, Glenn has pointed out. But we want them done right. And Public Works has worked very hard to do it, so we appreciate that. Any other comments, Norm?
No, I don't. Not on this item, Mayor.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
If you're ready.
Sure.
Motion to award the contract for the PV Parkway and Main Street pavement rehabilitation project to Regional Pavement Maintenance under the Mojave Contract number 14Y-RPMA-0317 for the contract amount of $61,114.20 by electronic vote.
Good. Second, anyone?
I'll second.
We have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Dan?
Passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you. Norm, give her your
Thank you, Mayor,
best
Council.
shot. Okay, we'll move on to H, consideration of awarding a construction contract to the lowest responsive bidder, Kenny Construction LLC, in the amount of $215,764 for the State Route 69 Waterline Relocation Project, CIP number W406, and the associated budget adjustments as outlined in the fiscal analysis. Neil, welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is for award of a construction contract for a water line replacement along Highway 69 on the south side of the road, roughly between Lake Valley and the Motel 8. So there's a section of water line over in there that goes down deep in the canyon over in that area, and we're proposing to move it up adjacent to Highway 69, so it'll be more in the, behind the guardrail in the shoulder area, where It will be much easier to maintain and obviously newer material. And so we did receive 7 bids on this project, the lowest bidder being Kinney Construction in the amount of $215,764. And so along with that, we are also requesting a couple of budget transfers in order to complete the funding for this project. And that's outlined in your packet there, $25,000 coming from contingency and another $61,860 coming from a different project that we are not moving forward with. And so with that, I would answer any questions that you might have.
And this will be done this fiscal year, right? Any questions, anyone? I think everybody's heard it before, and no, anything else, Neil?
No, that would be it.
Motions, commotions, Mike?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve award of a construction contract to the lowest responsive bidder, Kinney Construction LLC, in the amount of $215,764 for the SR69 Waterline Relocation Project CIP number W406 and the associated budget adjustments as outlined in the fiscal analysis.
Good. Second, anyone?
Mayor will make a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote?
That's approved unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. We'll move on to number I, consideration of awarding a construction contract to the lowest responsive bidder, Mountain High Excavating, in the amount of $529,550, and to approve an amendment to a town engineer agreement with Dave & Associates to include professional design and construction administration services in the amount of $48,000 for the Stone Ridge Water Main Installation Project, CIP W426, and approve the associated budget adjustments. Neil, you've been working on this for, what, 12 years?
Yeah, actually, probably. I think they cut the road in and the tank site in back in maybe 2005. And so, one of the things that we're looking forward to doing this summer is putting a water tank up there. But before we get to that point, we want to complete the water line and have water available at the site. And so we need to install a 16-inch water line from the end of Destiny Drive in Stone Ridge, and that would continue south to the tank access road and then up to the tank site. We did go over this in work study last week, and I gave you guys a presentation on all of that. So I don't know if there's actually any other questions related to that. I believe I mentioned that we also got 7 bids on this project, and the lowest bidder was Mountain High Excavating in the amount of $529,550. We're also asking that you approve some budget transfers. We do have enough money in the budget this year. It's just we had them allocated for the Summit 2 water tank, which will also be happening. We'll be starting the design this summer. So we had it budgeted this year. We're not doing that project. There is $2.5 million sitting there for budget authority, and we're asking that you allow us to use that so that we can get ahead of the projects, the 2 tank projects, and we'll be ready to go on that because this water line will be done. And we are asking you to approve the amendment to the town engineering agreement by adding an additional $48,000 to cover the design and construction management services associated with this project.
Good. Laura?
We did discuss this extensively at our work study, but the comment I want to make is I'm relieved we're going forward because the longer we wait, the more costly these kind of projects are. And I'm glad that we are financially able finally to address this. And if I lived in that community, I'd be very pleased.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there will be some construction to put up with for a period of time while we put the water line in, and then potentially Next spring, we would be also doing the construction of a 2 million gallon water tank at the site there, which is up around the corner, out of the vision of the Stone Ridge residents.
We're just all partial to turning that tap and wanting the water to flow. And this reassures that.
Other comments, questions? Jody?
I'll make a motion if there's nothing else.
We can do that. We've
All
studied
right.
this.
Then I make the motion to approve award of construction contract to the lowest responsive bidder, Mountain High Excavating, in the amount of $529,550, and approve an amendment to the town engineer agreement with Deva and Associates Incorporated to provide professional design and construction administration services in the amount of $48,000 for the Stone Ridge Water Main Installation Project, CIP number W426, and approve the associated budget adjustments as outlined in the fiscal analysis.
Good.
I'll second that, Mayor.
We got the motion and a second. Will you set the vote for us?
It's approved unanimously, Mayor.
Neil, you can go to work.
Thank
Good
you.
job. We appreciate that. Okay, we move on to number J. Consideration of awarding a construction contract for the Long Look Sidewalk Project, CIP number is 401 CDBG, grant number 154-17 to Earth Resource Corporation. Total bid in the amount of $413,431, and approve the amendment to the professional services agreement with Lion Engineering in the amount of $2,645. Ryan, you are up.
Mayor, Council, it's a pleasure to be with you once again. I do want to thank Diane. She always saves the best for last. So thank you again for putting me last on the agenda. I do appreciate that. We talked about this item briefly, or actually quite a bit last week, but for the audience that's here tonight and for our people watching on Channel 56, we are fortunate at this point to come to you with a recommendation for award of a new project to install a sidewalk on Long Look Drive from Viewpoint to Lone Cactus. This will connect to prior projects that the town has completed in recent years at the Glassford Hill intersection and at the Viewpoint intersection. So the project calls for the completion of the road on the north side and includes sidewalk, curb and gutter, and street lights at intersections. This is a copy of the sign that will go up if you approve this contract. And Public Works will also go door to door, delivering a flyer to residents, informing them of this project. Our hope is to complete the majority of the contract while school is out, so over June and July. And the contract does straddle 2 fiscal years. So we do have money budgeted in both fiscal years to be able to complete the project. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Laura?
I don't have any questions about the project because I'm very excited about the project. But apparently we don't have enough citizens that understand the funding for this, because they're saying, if you can do that there, why can't you do it for me? So while we go over this extensively, perhaps not enough people turn into our work site. So would you explain the CDBG funding and the spatial requirements, and not every neighborhood qualifies for that?
Absolutely, yes. To use CDBG funds, a neighborhood has to qualify. To make this project qualify, we had to use 2 different census tracts, which straddle the road, which made the project qualify. Because of that, we had to go through an environmental study. We'll have to monitor the project. It has to pay Davis-Bacon wages, so there's lots of requirements that go along with that. It's a pain in the neck, but it's worth the money because we've been able to advance several projects that wouldn't normally be included in our budget. So for this project, approximately half of that funding is coming from the CDBG grant, with the balance coming from our HERF funds.
Thank you.
Other comments? Mike? I'm sorry, Mary?
I just want to say thank you, Ryan. You do a great job on getting these funds for the community, and it's our tax dollars coming back to us, making our community better. So thank you very much.
Mike?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, too, to be eligible, you have to be considered a low-income area, has to meet certain criteria relative to CBDG.
That's correct, yeah. CDBG funds has to be used for one of three purposes: low to moderate income, an emergency, or slum or blight. But for this area, because we have some low-income apartments nearby, it helps these census tracts qualify for that CDBG funding.
And that tends to be more in the core area, I guess, or one of the original areas of our community that first started.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'd be happy to make a motion if we're ready.
I think we're ready.
All right. Motion to award the construction contract for the Long Look Sidewalk Project, CIP number S401, CBDG grant number 154-17 to Earth Resources Corporation in the total bid amount of up to $413,431, and approve the amendment to the professional service agreement with Lion Engineering in the amount of $2,645.
I'll second.
We had a motion and a second. Would you set the vote? Diane?
Passes unanimously, Mayor.
Ryan, you've done a great job with these. I wish we had a lot more of them, but you're doing great.
Keep working on them.
Thank you. Okay, we go on to the comments from the public. Mike? Yeah, Mike, would you read that one?
Good. Comments from the public. Consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. At the conclusion of the unscheduled comments, individual members of the council may respond to the item addressed at the discretion of the mayor, or they may ask the town manager to review the matter or ask that the matter be placed on a future agenda.
Thank you, Mike. And John, I know you have some comments. Welcome. It's good to see you, and Tony. John's, by the way, been down this road a few times. He was a councilman in Chino Valley years ago.
I enjoyed all of it I could stand.
And you loved it, didn't you?
John Hale, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for putting up with me. Mayor's put up with me a whole lot more. I've become kind of a parking lot gazer in this last 3 or 4. I said gazer and not geezer, Mayor. He takes advantage of me whenever he can. I had John's Corner Music Shop over on 2nd Street in the indoor flea market, and on March 16th they told us everyone in the building had to vacate, and we had 1 month to do so. I had customers that come from Las Vegas and Tucson, Phoenix, all over northern Arizona. I had a real good clientele. I brought a lot of people into town, paid sales tax since January of 2013. We had to move. Unfortunately, I was able to find Mr. Cascone's property and be able to relocate my business. It cost me almost $7,000 from the 8th of April to about the 23rd of April. Now, at the end of this month, I have another $2,278 in bills coming up. I haven't been able to sell a string or anything except advertise on Craigslist that I will perform my repair services for my clients and customers for free because I can't sell anything. The reason I can't sell anything is because we cannot get our parking lot approved. And the more I'm into this, the confusedder I get, because, and the town's employees have been very helpful generally. Let me back up here. Number 142 of 1316 of zoning says regarding parking lots, permanent dust-free pavement parking, surface materials such as asphaltic concrete or Portland cement concrete. That, but expressly not including such materials as chip seal, gravel, or granite. I was really surprised to see your item 9F awarding $872,000 for chip sealing.
If I could make a clarification, that's chip seal on top of asphalt. It's like putting a wax job on your car.
Right, understood. And then this other gentleman said the thing about putting this emulsive oil on top of the streets over there to restore that. Okay? Now, asphaltic material is defined as a solid, liquid, or semi-solid mixture of heavy hydrocarbons and non-metallic derivatives obtained naturally from bituminous, I pronounce it that way so I'm careful about BIT, etc., deposits or residues from petroleum refining. Now, what can be more asphaltic than asphalt? What can be more asphaltic than ground up asphalt that has been used? I talked to a fellow named Doug from the Yavapai County Roads Department, and he said he's only been there using this same substance and this same process for 28 years. He didn't know how much further back it had been done, but it's the same thing the State Highway Department does. They recycle, they grind up asphalt, just like the parking lot out here. And you end up with little pieces this big to maybe that big. This is a water emulsive material that holds this together, as the gentleman explained. This water emulsive material is already in the ground up asphalt. When you wet it enough, that water reopens the asphalt, as we have had explained to us by Asphalt Paving and Supply, who gave Mr. Cascone a bid of $4,200 to do a 42 by 42 square parking lot after he's already spent $4,000 to put that material there, to cover up a dirt parking lot that had been there when this building was built in 1979 or 80, all of this time. Several businesses coming in, one after the other in there. But when you drive up to the front, you may as well park in the front, because he's got photographs of water puddles that you could park a car in. So he upgraded his material, now, the parking lot. Now, here's the thing. Asphalt Paving and Supply offered a bid of $4,200 to, this material has already been rolled out, smoothed down, all that stuff. Needs to be done again now. What they do is they come in and they roll it flat to make sure it's good and flat. Then they water it down. Then they put 2 coats, not just 1 coat. I don't know how many coats they're going to put over there at that emulsion place they're going to fit here. That was number J, I think. The one before J. But they put this down. They roll it. They put another coat down, and they roll it. And you have then an asphalt parking lot, because it all started as asphalt in the first place. But the town will not allow this to happen, because it's a business property. But the same stuff is being done on your streets. Chip sealing's being done, which upgrades this material. The building right next to us has a chip seal driveway that they upgraded a while back. No problem. So what I'm asking is, if you, and we have an attorney sitting here, if the term asphaltic concrete is the only definition here, and a definition of it is a liquid, a solid, or a semi-solid, am I not correct when the town itself is doing this stuff, that it's just a matter of interpretation as to who reads this and says what kind of material it's going to be? You know what kind of material it's supposed to be now to us? At least 1.5 inches or 2 of real asphalt, that's $12,000 to $16,000, or concrete from $12,000 to $16,000, when everybody is doing this. That's why I said the thing about being a gazer, not a geezer. A gazer. You go around this town and you will see a patchwork of every kind of driveway there is, from dirt to gravel. I mean, some of these are, in fact. The company has not changed hands. They haven't had a new business come in and apply for a business license. They haven't had any of this stuff, so they just get to stay the way they were 15, 20 years ago. The other thing about chip sealing is, and I first started learning about it in 1988 when I was on the council in Chino Valley, chip sealing has been good enough for this town for some 25 years or so. The use of this chopped up asphalt with the emulsion has been good enough for this town as recently as the last 12 months in Prescott Valley. I'm told that it wasn't good enough, so they took it all up and they put in pavement. Maybe they didn't put in pavement like that over in this place where they're putting the liquid down, because they're simply resurfacing it, which is what this needs to be done. So the reason I'm talking about this is this. Not only am I confusider and confusitor, that one person can do something and the other person cannot, but at the end of this month now, I will have over $9,000 of my pocket money spent for nothing. And I cannot service my clients. I cannot sell a guitar. We're scheduled to come to the Prescott Valley. We're in the Prescott Valley Library. With this kids program about musical instruments and stuff, we've been serving the public, churches, schools, the library program for bringing things in and show them how I make guitars out of garbage can lids and cigar boxes and boat oars, the Upper Creek guitar, for example. We serve the public as much as we can, and we have a very good reputation. That's why people come from hundreds of miles away sometimes to use our services. I'm sure I've run over 5 minutes. So what I ask you to do is this. Please look into what's being done here. One other thing I would say with respect to Mr. Tarkowski, one of his suggestions was figure out what kind of an estimate you can do, which he did, and he brought it in and showed Mr. Gonzalez. He said, nope, that ain't going to work. I know it ain't. I had talked with Mr. Tarkowski, and he suggested we get an estimate, get a contract, put the money into escrow to show it will be paid for, the town and Mr. Cascone being signers on it. Now, that's a little over the top as far as I'm concerned, because it's up to Mr. Cascone how he's going to pay for the job. He's got a contract signed. If he doesn't pay for it, the contractor puts a money lien on his property. That can't happen. If he borrows the money to put in escrow, he's got to pay payments on the money and interest on the loan that he took out. If he takes out his money from his savings account, he loses interest from his bank account. So that, I don't think the town should be telling people that they got to put money into escrow for a project. Anyway, I can't sell anything. If nothing else, one other suggestion I got. If our parking lot is not good enough, how about we just barricade off our parking lot, and there's 50 or 60 cars at any given 5-minute period along the shoulder of the road from Robert Road all the way to the T name. See, now I got it stuck in my head.
Truewood.
Truewood. People park along the shoulder on both sides of the road, that whole thing. If nothing else, so that I can get my business license, how about we just barricade off our parking lot and let people just park like they do at everybody else, so we can go ahead and start doing some business until this parking lot thing gets straightened out. But maybe reconsider this definition here, that if the county and the state and the town of Prescott Valley can use asphaltic materials that we already have and just put the emulsion, has already been explained, so we can get back into business. There's a dust-free thing, and it's asphalt. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, John. I hope there's a way where we can get John and Tony, and there's one other business, in it back to business. Let's see, she's first, and then you're next then, Tony.
Mayor, if I could.
I'm sorry.
Mayor, if I could.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to ask that you limit your time to the time on the timer. There's a timer that comes up, and if you could just be aware of that, we'd appreciate it.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
My name is Andrea Sansone. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. I am also a resident on North Sable Way in Pronghorn Ranch. Approximately 2 years ago, I approached Dorn Homes because they had created an earthen dam in the meadow behind my home. I said, could you please cut through so that it can go into the floodplain? They said, oh, yes. I was put off for weeks and weeks. And let me just start out by saying, from the beginning, it's such a litigious society. That's the last thing I want to have to do. The last thing. I just want to enjoy my retirement. Through some pressure I brought to bear, they had a backhoe down there that afternoon. The option was a satellite truck from the valley. Take your pick. What's cheaper? What's easier? What makes more sense? Since then, they've developed there, and the channel back behind Sable Way has been a big problem. My neighbors and I, several, have talked about this as being a problem, and they came and walked the channel. They told us we had nothing to worry about. The gentleman who told us we had nothing to worry about was subsequently fired because he did not monitor the project. It was resurveyed. It was redug. For some reason, they had to widen it by 2 feet. But did they take that off of the wide side of Dorn Homes property? No, they took it off of our side, so now it's even narrower. The culverts that go under the street have been blocked up for months, halfway with mud, tumbleweed, other debris. We've contacted them time and time again. We've asked, been blown off, frankly, both by Dorn Homes and by some people below the council level. I put a bug in an ear yesterday and said, I'm going to be going to the city council because this is not being properly handled. And magically, they had someone come out and clean things up just to get the tumbleweeds and that kind of thing out today. I do have some pictures if anybody is, gracious enough to look at them after offline, just so you can understand what we're talking about. They were supposedly held up on their building permits until they took care of this. But yet they're still building, and the problem has not been addressed completely. Because once we get a monsoon in here, it's all over. I'd kind of like to not lose the house that I just built. It's pretty close, and there's a lot of people in the area on the 10-acre lots behind us off of Coyote Springs whose property floods. And we're assured constantly for the last 2 years and asked to be patient about it. My patience is about done. About all of these things being addressed because, again, I had to threaten things to get some action as early as, or as recent as today. So this issue is going to be big when it doesn't have to be. It should be addressed when it's small. This is a stitch-in-time situation if they just do it properly. The culverts are now shooting out water when the monsoon hits because now a cut-and-fill patch of earth has been made to create backyards on a cul-de-sac in the new development. I can't see anything not causing those to erode. When I asked them about how they were going to deal with this problem, they said, oh, well, we're going to use compacted earth and proper materials. And I said, and what are those proper materials? Well, the compacted earth. I said, well, that's 2 different things. So I would request that you put some gabion wall supports in certain stress points so that it supports the flow of the water coming down. One of the engineers said, well, we have to have the percolation rate be the same as when we started, as when we finished. I said, I'm sorry. When you have thousands and thousands of yards of hardscape installed, it's not going to absorb. It's going to run off. There are people who have lived off Coyote Springs for over 30 years. I kind of trust them a little more than the, Johnny-come-lately type engineers and people who assured us there was nothing wrong, and then we found out something was wrong. So if somebody could please address this problem so that, we don't lose our homes and we don't have to go further down the road legally. It's just unnecessary. So there are some other people maybe who are here that can speak to that have had other problems. I do know that there is someone who has retained legal counsel regarding this. So I don't want to be one of those people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. John, your comments? Or Tony? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council people.
For the record, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Tony Cascone, and I'm somewhat embarrassed and humbled that John, a tenant of mine, has to come up here to pretty much defend my situation here. I'm kind of taken back by it. Purchased this property, just to give you a little history, approximately a year and a half ago. And the property is 8680 Highway 69. It was built in 1971 when there was maybe 1,000 residents in this city, well before anything like this, well before there was all the new laws for zoning and planning. I've got a property based on these standards that would be non-conforming. I was told when I purchased it, and I also went down to City Hall, that it was grandfathered in as far as the parking. This is what my parking looked like when it rained. If I can hand it to anybody. This is what it looked like. And that's the way it's been for who knows how long. And you can see, as the city continues to build frontage road, it gets higher, and most of the water just goes right on into my property. Me thinking that it's naive, I thought, okay, let me go to a gravel yard and put more rock where there was rock. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I did this in September of last year. In March, I applied for a license to sell some antiques out of my space, and I met Marty. He saw the property. He saw it after it had been. We had put asphalt on it or millings. Okay, I'm willing to subject myself to giving you evidence of me doing it, if I can hand it to you. And this is what it ended up looking once it was rolled out. I didn't do it in the cover of darkness. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Marty came out, excellent individual, and everybody I've met at the city has been remarkable. We got approved, we got our license, we got ready to open up, and then we met the Honorable Mr. Hale. And he was willing to move in our store, and he did. And then he went to apply for his license. And after he moved in, we got a notice from planning, code enforcement, that we were in violation. Now, one thing that I was saying, the property's not going to stand by today's standards. I've got a parking lot that's like 40 by 40, 2,000 square feet. I'm lucky, based on the standards of today, that I can get 4 cars. The building size is over 1,800 square feet. They would never allow it. But now I'm being cited that I've put the wrong stuff on there, and I'm no longer grandfathered in. Now I was told maybe I should remove the asphalt because it's not proper the way it's written. It's considered mills, pavement mills. Even though it started out as asphalt, it's considered pavement mills, and that's not in the code. I've got a little bit of law enforcement background, and I always understood law to be interpreted in one or two ways, either by the letter or by the spirit. If anybody can see where I've tried to do something wrong, I'll take it as is, and I'll figure out a way to pay Mr. John Hall his losses. But that's not the case. Not only, so I've gone and I've gotten bids, and I'm embarrassed that I've got a license to open up on the same property. John cannot get a license. It's almost being held hostage for trying to improve. I don't see how I have harmed this city in any way for this type of action. So I pretty much am asking for some help, some understanding. On top of that, then I'm in violation of landscaping. I've got to put some planters. There's no space. I'm already, based on the square footage of the building, I'm approximately 9 to 10 parking spaces too short. I'm asking for some help and some understanding that this building was built almost 50 years ago, prior to any of these regulations being placed. Again, I don't think I did anything to try and harm the city. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tony. And I did see Tony's building. It's a very nice building, and we would like to see him be able to put up a sign and get in the business. Glenn, another comment?
On a better note, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilman, and staff, I don't know if you read it, but I read it in the paper, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but a lot of the public people don't get the good news. They always thrive on the bad stuff. And I want to congratulate you. The HAWP recognized Prescott Valley. HAWP is the Healthy Arizona Worksite Program. But I only got one problem. Larry and all his department heads has what they call exceeded the 4 categories, which are silver, gold, and platinum. Prescott Valley was awarded the platinum. And me being an ex-employer, really understand the harmony between employer and employee. So I congratulate Larry and all your department heads for a great job.
Hey, we appreciate that, John. Thank you. Come on up. It's good to see you. Appreciate you coming.
Well, I'm trying to. My name
Might
is.
pull that microphone
Yeah,
down
there we go. Yeah, my name is Pamela Carver. I'm out in Coyote Springs, and we're trying to get this with Pronghorn and Unit 18 taken care of before everything gets built out and you have a major
Pull
problem.
that down just a little bit.
I beg, right there.
There, yeah.
Yeah, Andrea I'm familiar with because I can see from my property they're going to have major trouble. They're sitting lower than the new Unit 18, and what they've done to the detention basin is just awful. And it's not what they said it was going to be. It's supposed to be a retention basin with the water draining out the bottom, and it's a trash catch because I've gone over there. And basically, the problems that we have, nobody's done anything about. I've got phone numbers for 12 people involved with Pronghorn, another 5 for this town of Prescott Valley. I've asked them, I was fighting them on the detention basin and then the drainage off of it. The detention basin is supposed to hold the water. They've got the weir in, and it's supposed to allow the water to come out. Andrea's going to get flooded. It's just going to happen because it's going to back up. These people say, and I've got a nice letter from Allen Consulting Engineers. I wrote a nice letter to FEMA. They wrote me back. It was beautiful. It's not going to work. I've been out there long enough that when 2005 hit and those floodwaters hit, it came so fast that it just almost annihilated everything. And Unit 18 and none of the other units north were there. The water came in, it just flowed through because all the asphalt, concrete, and rock. Nothing's going to soak in. I'm trying to make sure they get this taken care of. So they're supposed to put a ditch 60 feet wide at the narrowest point where all the houses drain right to the bottom of my property. They're supposed to have that in before monsoon, and to do that they have to abandon the electric line that goes from our road straight west to this nice little house out to the west all by itself on Poquito Valley. They've since piled 8 feet of dirt on top of it. They said, well, we'll abandon it in place. And I said, well, that's fine. You can't put the ditch for drainage until you get rid of the electric line. I was told last month at an April 11th meeting that for Pronghorn that they were going to do it soon. We've been hearing that for 2 years. It's still out there. The manhole at the bottom of my property that's going to be sitting in floodwater is not sealed. It's just a regular manhole. The electric has not been abandoned. The ditch has not been dug. And I have pictures, and I'm wondering why there's a construction trash alert for the town. I have been back to utilities 3 times. This last time I brought a picture of that, the other picture when it's on the ground, a 6x8 area, And this plastic right here, the foam, is a 50-foot by 6-inch wide foam that I have wound up as I went around my property. My property is 10 acres. I can no longer let my horses out. I have to walk the entire property. I took 2 feed bags full of trash to the utilities. I asked them to dispose of it. I'm not filling up my garbage can. I will continue to do this. They won't do anything about it. The Pronghorn does nothing about the trash. It's just all over. And when they were constructing and joining up the sewer for the south end of Unit 18, they had an open pit with an open pipe, sewer pipe, and you can see the items flowing by. And it was open for over the weekend, and the workers left their plastic containers of water there. They were empty, so obviously they blew away. I also have pictures right here. These are actually the mild ones of dust. It's supposed to be tamped down. It's not. This is another one. The day after I went in and talked to and made another complaint, this is the 3rd complaint on this, to Woody Lewis, a building official in community development. He wrote a nice little article right here. I said, they're not picking up the trash, they're not watering the dirt. And they had it packed down right in front of me, and it was doing pretty good as long as the wind blew from the south. They've dumped 30-plus piles of dirt that haven't been watered down that are sitting out there. Last Thursday, I was out watering my property. I had suntan lotion on, and the wind came straight from the west. It sandblasted my house. I looked like a piece of sandpaper when I got done, and everything was a mess. And I haven't seen them water anything out there in weeks. I haven't seen them pick up trash in months. I'm just at a total loss as to why you have a code that is never enforced. And I have called so many people and told them about it, and nobody will call me back. I left a message the day I was in Prescott Valley, and they said somebody will get back to me. Nobody got back to me. There were 2 or 3 people who were supposed to get back to me. Nobody from Pronghorn will call me back. There's no solutions. When we have meetings, they tell us one thing, they do another. It's a disaster out there. It's a trash dump. It's going to be a floodplain, and it's not working well. I don't care what FEMA says. I've lived there. I've seen it. And when you I have one picture back in here. This is what my floodplain, you can't see it from there, but this was 1997 prior to Pronghorn. There's no floodwater on my plain. It's all on Pronghorn. And they're not going to be able, that was with grass. No asphalt, no concrete, no gravel. That was 300 feet wide. After 2005, thanks to Pronghorn, we now have 300 feet on my side. I have federally protected burrowing owls on my bottom 10 acres. I don't want to see them flooded out. They are federally protected. They are monitored constantly by Wild at Heart. And I'm just kind of concerned. I'd really like to see this thing taken care of, but honestly, I'm not impressed with what they're doing because they're trying to get so many houses jammed in. The 100+ houses that are going to be directly at my south boundary, all of them drain with a wide drainage straight down at a 90-degree angle into this ditch that's only going to be a couple feet deep. And if you have one of those monsoons, it's going to be real ugly. It's going to be real ugly. So I hope somebody can do something because, quite frankly, I'm just getting it on the record so people know. But they're not doing trash. They're not doing dust. They're not doing anything, really. They just keep building houses.
Well, thank you for your comments. Okay. Appreciate that. Anyone else got any comments? Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Mary Hunter, and I'm a new resident, and I was here last month. I want to thank the firefighters for all they did at Viewpoint. We had been in the movie, came out in the back rear window. We could see all the smoke and everything. By the time we got over to our house, the area had been opened up so that we could go in and check on our pets, but I heard of another person who had been there earlier and couldn't get in to make sure that her pets were out, and they couldn't go in and get them for her. So I'm not going to get very far away from home anymore. But I want to thank everybody, and especially our firefighters.
We sure appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Give you a second chance.
You already know who I am.
Well, you can put it in there for the record.
Right. Andrea Sansone.
And now if you lift the mic up a little bit.
Andrea Sansone. And I was at home the other day when the fire broke out, and I was at the kitchen. My husband opened the window, and I said, I smell fire. He said, you smell smoke? I said, no, I smell fire. And this is from a background of 32 years in emergency services with fire department, 911, and other agency, MTA. So I looked out, saw the fire. Now, the reason I'm even bringing any of this up is there's been a big problem with the struggle between opening up the Parkview Street from Antelope Meadows over to Viewpoint. Lots of arguments about who thinks, who's responsible, who's not responsible, who made an agreement when they were first developed, they went bankrupt. It should have. It's all not going to matter when it hits the fan. Something needs to be done. They need to get it open. Somebody needs to take responsibility, or they're going to be taking liability, simply put. So whoever you folks need to address that with, please do, because it's going to save lives. That's all.
Mr. Mayor, could I address that, please?
Yes.
Okay. We've had a number of people over the last couple of years talk about demanding that Parkview Drive be completed. The answer has been the same, and it has been consistent, and it has been very loud. We are not going to open up Parkview Drive until the construction in Pronghorn is completed. It is not fair to those who live in the Viewpoint to have to absorb the construction traffic to support the completion of Pronghorn. If we open up that connector, all of the concrete trucks, the truss trucks, everything else will take a shortcut going up Viewpoint Drive to Parkview, then over into Pronghorn to finish that job. Once Pronghorn is completed, then the developer of Viewpoint will be making that connection per the development agreement. It's cut and dry. When there is an emergency, like there was 2 Fridays ago, the emergency gate is open. There were hundreds of cars that used Parkview to evacuate or to re-enter the area, as well as emergency services vehicles. There is an emergency gate there that is intended to be opened when there is such an emergency, which just happened to be a couple of Fridays ago, and it was open. So in terms of safety, number one, that is number one priority, and when there is a need for it, it is open. But until Pronghorn is completed, we are not going to subject the Viewpoint to the construction traffic of Pronghorn. There is no debate as to who's paying for it. There is no debate as to when it will be built. That's very clear in the developers' minds. So I just want you to know that is the answer. I've heard in the last week a number of different people with their hair on fire going, oh, it's not going to ever get built. That is not true. It is going to be built, and it was open for the emergency. Thank you.
I appreciate that. One question, has this been publicly advertised so that people know that that is available to them during an emergency, maybe through the homeowners association, that kind of thing?
Traffic was directed to use it when it came time to re-enter the burned area, or when it was time to exit. There was traffic control. We had a number of employees out there assisting the firefighters. And so when there was a clogged area at Viewpoint Drive and 89A, traffic was directed to go the other way. So it was well taken care of.
Yeah, that's excellent. But again, I think it would give people a level of comfort to know that ahead of time so that you won't have so many people with their hair on fire. Just a thought.
Excuse
Andrea,
me.
we appreciate that. Good comment.
We have this conversation a minimum of once a year. Would you be an ambassador for us And would you go share this information?
Happy to do it.
Because we have answered this multiple times. You can make a difference and help us by sharing that
Happy
information.
to do that. I would like to know, I mean, I guess that's a part of the protocol and the emergency plan for the fire department that they immediately go do that. The closest responding engine company, I would presume, which is they're at Robert Road. Keys, they get the keys, they go out, they do it. So, okay, good to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
This is Pamela Carver again. Just to top off what she was saying, my house had a bird's eye view of everything, and my concern was once these subdivisions, the north end of Viewpoint, the north end of Pronghorn, get in, there's only one way out for these people. It's one road on Viewpoint, one road on Pronghorn, and you've got 5 miles back of houses, denser at the front, less dense at the back. Somehow, people, they've got to get a road on the north side over to Chino. If it has to jog around houses, fine. There's a road at Road 4 North that went out a mile, absolutely gorgeous dirt road, ready to be paved. They stopped it. Somehow, something has to come together for people to be able to get out, because everybody's going to be going on to 89A, and there's no way to handle the traffic if it's something major. And I don't know if anybody's thought about that. That's 5 miles of subdivision, 3 miles wide, and there's no place for anybody to go except one way, south. So if the fire had started there, what would they have done? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some wire clippers and go north. I'm just going to go out the north end and clip somebody's fence just to get out, because you won't be able to get out on the south side. 89A won't be able to handle it. It's not wide enough. There's no way to shortcut from 89A over to Fane Road. I've talked to Chino about it. I've mentioned it to, I forget who else in Prescott Valley, but I wish somebody would come together, County, Chino, and Prescott Valley, and think of an emergency road there. And if they could get a road on the north side of these subdivisions, I realize they would have to jog around some. Think of the traffic they would take off of 89A and other roads to get out to Chino. It would be wonderful to cut down on that traffic in those intersections. So I just hope somebody considers it, because nothing's out there much yet, and it would be wonderful if they could get something going.
Yeah, I think we have a tentative plan on that, but it's going to take a while. But I appreciate that. Anyone else? We appreciate your comments. Good job, everyone, and thank you so much for coming. With that, we have one more agenda item that needs to be taken care of. It's known as agenda, or adjournment, rather. Anyone care to make a motion to adjourn? And by the way, after this meeting, we have another meeting, Facilities District meeting. So we're going to recess for about 5 minutes after this. Motion to adjourn, anyone?
So moved.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the motion.
We have a so move and a so second. Would you set the vote, Diane?
That's unanimous.
That is a unanimous one. Thank you all for coming. You're welcome to stay for the next meeting.